Welcome to True Northing with Kristen and Allison. So I was at the Benson Boone concert last day.
Oh my
I was at
god.
Benson Boone in Glendale, Arizona with my almost 11-year-old. And that was so fun. I can't remember the last time I went to like a live show, but Benson Boone is like such a great act, and it was really wholesome and fun and lively, and it was so sweet. It was such a sweet experience.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you've been so busy, but doing so many fun things.
I love fun things, but I got back at almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so
Oof.
I'm tired. But it was interesting. It's a different kind of tired, like, when you're filled up kind of tired versus depleted tired.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Benson Boone, I think of the song Beautiful Things.
Yeah, beautiful things, mystical, magical. Um,
Oh.
yeah, and there was some that I heard last night that I didn't know. But my favorite is Young American Heart. And
Young
my
American.
11-year-old daughter loves Benson Boone. And so it just happened to be that he was playing a show right by her birthday and somewhat near us. And I was like, okay, we're going.
How did you discover it? Or do you get notifications?
So, I think that she was going to choose a song on Spotify of his. I had, like, handed her my phone, she went and, like, chose the song that she wanted, and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, Benson Boone is playing a tour near my birthday," because I think
Um,
on Spotify, it will show up when the artist is touring. So she saw on there all the dates, and I was like, "Oh, okay, looks like we're going."
wow. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
I know, if he's playing near you. It was fun. If you have a Vincent Boone fan, check him out.
Yeah.
But on the way down yesterday, I was thinking about this podcast and what yeah, we've kind of been talking about this topic for a while. But it just really felt like the time to bring it in, this concept of rejection as redirection. And it's more than that, I think, too. So possibly we can pull it apart a bit and talk through it because I, this is a concept that I've known about that teachers of mine have shared with me, but it really didn't land and integrate until I had an experience myself of a rejection that felt big at the time. And then how I handled that rejection really set me up for a more authentic and true to me life course than my life would have been if I hadn't been rejected. And so, yeah, let's dive in.
I love it because rejection is something we all experience in so many areas of life with friends, with lovers, at work, whatever it is. And often we experience it understandably as a negative event and something that is unfair, and we fight against it or we're really wounded by it. And so we often take it to mean we've done something wrong or we need to stop or pull back in some way, like we're on the wrong track. But actually, what we're talking about is rejection as a signal that maybe you are moving in the right direction and the rejection is moving you into the right, truest direction for your life. So it's kind of like a pivot, it's information.
It's a pivot, it's information. And I love that you brought up these different places that we can experience rejection that we might not even generally define it as rejection. Like, there are some cases that we would label rejection, like, oh, we got denied a job. Someone literally said to us they don't like us, or, things that are more overt. experiences of being rejected, but there's so many subtle ways that we can feel rejected or experience rejection in friendships, in intimate relationships, just in life, in so many choices that we make. And so, this idea of rejection, maybe we can define it. It's like anytime we feel kind of not wanted or excluded, or maybe it's not about being rejected, but it's somebody not moving towards us in the way that we've invited them to.
Mm.
Yeah, how else?
Like we've put ourselves out there or we've reached for something and it doesn't go the way we expected or wanted.
Yeah, so that can be in relationship or just with experiences, right? We step towards something and it doesn't work out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even I even think about parts of ourselves, parts of our personality or behaviors when we in any kind of environment or relationship, we do something or we show a part of ourselves and somebody reacts negatively or unfavorably, we tend to sometimes unconsciously take that as information that that part of us is bad and that we need to lock it away and don't be that way anymore. Rather than taking it, we could take it, interpret it in all kinds of ways. We could take it as what comes to mind is that the rejection is actually information about the other person. Instead,
Mm,
we analyze it and we make it about us and something that we've done wrong.
mm. Rejection is information in general, right? It's an invitation to explore what's there. And yeah, even when we show a part of ourselves and the other person doesn't match us, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I guess that's not useful or that doesn't belong here. So, yeah, we've kind of looked at these different ways that rejection can show up, which I think is just really helpful to consider in your life moving through this conversation. So, this idea of rejection as information or rejection as redirection, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I experience rejection, outside of the initial ouch, the initial kind of shock of it or hurt or disappointment that comes up, I think about it as a signal that there's something greater for me.
Mm,
There's a different avenue I need to be taking. In a sense, this thing, whatever it is not right for me in this moment or in this way. There's something truer, there's something better, there's something more aligned that by receiving this rejection and this door maybe closing, I'm now being redirected to something better.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I guess with that, with this example, I'm thinking about an opportunity, like a
mm-hmm.
job or
Right.
something like that. Less about somebody responding negatively to a part of me. But yeah, some kind of opportunity or path that I'm following or way that I'm putting myself out there that it doesn't happen the way I wanted it to. So there's that redirection happening.
So I think it was maybe like 2 to 3 years ago that I was listening to Lacey Phillips' expanded podcast, and she had an episode. I think it was the title had rejection in it. And I wasn't experiencing rejection at the time, but I just was like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. And I listened to the podcast, and in it, she talked about Lacey, I think it was Lacey, talked about when we are experiencing rejection, it's so important to keep our self-worth. It's so important to like stay connected to ourselves, I guess is how I interpreted it. Like, don't let rejection kind of bring you down in a way. Like, let it give you information, let it redirect you. But kind of like as she would say, the test in rejection is to continue to own your self worth.
Mhm.
And that was something that I just found so curious. Like, wow, I've never heard anybody talk like that before about like keeping your self worth during rejection, and how that ties to us being able to move forward more authentically into our life. And so maybe it was like a year after that, after listening to her podcast, I was interviewing for different internships. And I had applied to a few different internships and I had gotten a few different interviews. And there were two specific placements that I was interviewing for. And the first one I was interviewing for, I got through the first interview, I got invited to a second interview, and I didn't feel the best about the placement. I didn't feel the best about the second interview. So it wasn't that big of a surprise to me when they said, hey, like you're not a match. And I was like, oh, okay, that was easy for me to be like, yep, like redirection, that was not that big of a deal. And that didn't hurt my self-esteem. But the second placement I interviewed with, it felt so right to me in so many ways. Like it had like the financial aspect that was a match for me. It had this like ease of scheduling and flexibility. It had this kind of mission and philosophy around it that I really aligned with. And I connected with the people in the internship as well. And when I got invited to the first interview, I got invited to the second interview, and I was like, oh, I got it. Like, I feel so resonant. Like, it felt expansive to me. Like, wow, this is going to like financially be great and aligned in these different ways. And I didn't get the job, I didn't get the internship. And it felt so big for me. It felt so big because I had allowed myself to feel bigger and expand myself into it. And really, I think even going into the interview, I was really focusing on like my self worth and, and manifestation and dreaming bigger. And so it was quite it was almost a shock because it just felt like such a match for me. And unlike the first interview where it was easy to let it go, with this one, it really rocked me in this way that I was like, oh, this is a big one for me. And it was big in the sense that it was the first experience I had had where almost my sense of self worth grew from the rejection. Like, not in this, like, inflated, like, "Oh, I'm better than them," but like, "Whoa, I'm coming home deeper to myself." Like, this is I had put this connection out there in the internship, like, I had put this bridge out there, and it was like all of the energy, like, came back to me of, like the message that I was getting at the time was, "You need to be more yourself." And what can often happen in rejection is we think we need to be less of ourself. And so it started, I mean, I had already been on this journey, but it really like was this for me was this massive experience of like I need to claim myself even more because in some ways I was trying to match myself to the placement. And so I took that as an opportunity to really clarify even more of who I am and who I was. And life has expanded for me a hundredfold since then. And I mean, it redirected me closer to this business that I had already had ideas about. It redirected me to really integrate all parts of myself. Like for the internship, it was like, okay, here's the psychologist part. And then here's my maybe like wild woman, nature loving self over here. So there was a bit of a split. I could see that. And so this I don't even remember when that was, but yeah, maybe just over a year ago. And so this last year has been such an integration of all parts of self. And what I would say is the core difference in that experience was that I maintained my self worth and that I used it as an opportunity to feel even more deeply connected to myself and my interests and being whole.
I love that so much. The piece you said about how when we experience rejection, our initial response is often to think we need to be less of
Mhm.
ourselves, when instead the invitation is to be more of yourself.
Yeah, it's like redirection to more of yourself.
Mhm. And so you came in feeling, if I heard you right, feeling a lot of self-worth
Mhm.
through this interview process, and seeing, oh, I can have these things. These things are important to me in a job, and I want to feel aligned and connected to what I'm doing in these ways, and that exists, and maybe this could happen for me. And so it was maybe expanding your perspective and helping you tap into more of what you want and what feels true. And then when it didn't work out, you were able to stay with your self-worth and even expand your self-worth further.
Yeah, and just a note on that there, it was emotional for me. Yes, the loss or not getting it, but more because I knew that a loss that big meant that something so much bigger was coming. And I stayed in that trust and I stayed in that faith. And I was like, felt shook. I was like, whoa, universe. Like, whoa, what does that mean? Like if it's not this, then like what's it gonna be? Because this is big, because that was big and that seemed right. And so whatever's coming is gonna be bigger.
Yeah, and that excitement. Wow, it can get even better, even truer, even more aligned.
Yeah. But like I didn't just simply stay in positivity, like I let myself be rocked by it. Like, I was rocked. I remember driving and, oh my gosh, this is this is so funny. I was driving and listening to, Adele and just, like, crying, and I was like, "Oh," it just felt so deep for me, and it was because it changed my life, and I've even thought, like, I don't think I will, but I've, like, thought, down the line writing them and just being like, "Oh my gosh, I kinda wanna let you know what happened." You rejected me, and that was so amazing.
It's heartbreaking to think about. I mean, it's natural and it makes so much sense, and we all go through this at some point, but it's heartbreaking to think about how many of us experience rejection in any capacity and do take that to mean that
Mm.
there's something wrong with us, or was something bad about us reaching for that thing that
It's
we
a
need to be.
my whole life. Yeah. That was a completely new experience for me to maintain my self-worth so much in that way. It's been a journey, but you're right. It's sad to think of how many people take it to mean, "This is wrong, I'm wrong, I shouldn't go that direction."
Yeah, and so to notice the story and the meaning that we're attaching to the rejection, and to be able to ask ourselves, what is happening? Why is this hurting so deeply? Why is this so difficult for me?
Mm.
What's really here? And then that reminder of redirection, rejection as redirection.
Mhm. Yeah, important to look at the story, right? What story am I making about myself? What story am I making about the other? If I'm not making myself wrong, am I making the other wrong? Is it like a ping pong ball? Like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, but there's something wrong with them,
Mhm.
And so just noticing what kind of thoughts are you having around this? What are you making it to mean about you or the situation? And how can you expand beyond that?
It's also making me think about setting boundaries with others or fear of rejecting others,
Hmm.
saying no, fear of
Hmm.
saying no to others because we don't want to reject someone. We don't want to cause someone to feel rejected by us. When really, us saying no to something or honoring whatever is true for us redirects the other person, creates space for us to be in alignment with what we're really wanting or needing, but it also creates space for the other person
Hmm.
to get the thing or meet the person or go the way that is actually for their greater good as well. Will redirect and guide them towards something better.
Hmm. Yeah, that's such an important part. I can definitely track so many times I haven't wanted to reject somebody or, you know, something, and that can feel hard for me. So that's an important reminder. Along these lines, I'm thinking about, I kind of have talked about it a little bit, but this concept of um like in manifestation is when you set the intention or the goal or the manifestation ideal, is that everything that's not that will first show up. Wondering if you could walk us through that a little bit.
Ooh, I love this. I just love how you say that. Everything that is not the thing that you want will fall away or will first show up, like blow
Mhm.
up your face, present, come out of the shadows in order to fall away, is how I think about it.
Yeah, and that was something I definitely didn't understand in the past.
It's sort of like when we decide, okay, I am ready to step into my self worth. I'm ready to let go of these old ideas, this old conditioning that I'm not enough or that I need to be a pleaser or play nice and not step on anyone's toes. Once you kind of declare that or even start moving into that, suddenly you're presented with all these triggering situations. People in your life who are really pushing those buttons that make you want to go back to the default of people pleasing or shrinking. Maybe you show up in a really high self worth way and people respond super negatively. And so, yeah, all these things that are not what you were calling in, that are not a part of what, or maybe opposite of what you're really claiming and trying to step into show up. And the idea, I know from the manifestation perspective and Lacey Phillips perspective, she calls these tests. It's the universe's way of testing you to see if you will fall back into the old low self worth way of being, or if you will be able to face these really challenging, triggering situations in self worth while maintaining your self worth and your connection to yourself.
Mhm.
And I like this idea of it, what you said, everything that is not that is going to show up in order to be moved through, released, to fall away. It has to first present, it has to come out of the dark.
Has to come out of the dark. Yeah, another teacher of ours that we studied with, Greg, would talk about it as like the drawing back of the arrow. Like you like point your arrow, you know where you want it to go, and then you like draw it back for it to go and shoot. And so it's like in the drawing back is where all the stuff is coming up. It's like, wait, I just went backwards. Like all the stuff from the past or all the things that I just said that I didn't want to experience came up. And that place is where many people will say, oh, it's not meant to be. This is too hard. Like that is the place where most people give up. Not just give up, they really take it as a sign that the direction that they pointed their arrow wasn't the right direction. And so drawing back the arrow, it's expected that everything is going to come up before it can go and leap into the direction that you've pointed it. And so expect it.
Expect it.
Expect it. Know that it's going to show up and be like, oh, that's a sign that, like,
It's a
not
good
only
sign.
did I point it's a good sign. It's like, oh, we can meet it with excitement now. Like, wow, everything that's not that, and, you can meet it with excitement and any true authentic feelings about those things that are hard to see and feel and experience are there, but also knowing, wow, that means as I work through these things, my arrow can go where I've pointed it.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like, shit,
Mm,
everything is blowing up. It's getting hard. All these things are happening that it feels like it's pulling me farther and farther away, but really that bow is just drawing back. And if I can just keep drawing it back, back, back,
mm,
just keep going,
mm,
eventually it's like there's this tipping point where the release will happen and
mhm,
you're kind of catapulted into the thing that you really want. Once you've gone far enough back and all this stuff has presented and cleared away, you can go. You can land where you
mm,
want to land.
mhm, mhm. I was listening to this first part of this podcast between Emma Watson and Jay Shetty. It's like a 3-hour podcast. So I just like in the first maybe like 30 minutes on my drive home last night. But she said something about her experiencing maybe rejection on set or something and getting emotional. And she said that there was this experience that she had of kind of like breaking down, but she's like, wow, it showed me that there were more places that I had to break. And I'm like, whoa, what a fascinating way to look at that. Like more
Beautiful.
places to break open, more places to understand, more places that we're sensitive to. And I really loved that perspective that she had on it. It was like more information about herself.
Yes. That's a really beautiful perspective.
Mm,
Well,
yeah.
thanks. This was a great reminder. Rejection as redirection.
In all the big and little ways, all the big and little ways. I mean, I shared a big experience, but I mean, rejection or things not going as planned, I mean, come up every day. Or, and with our kids or, just life experiences that happens. And so what's there for us? Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I hope this resonated. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. See you next time.